you'd like to add, please go ahead and unmute yourself. And we would love to chat with you. But just to start, we always just start everyone on mute.
Okay, I think I got everybody.
Perfect. We're recording for anyone that couldn't come with us today. So again, welcome everyone. Can you hear us okay?
Yes,
Good.
thumbs up.
Great.
Okay,
Fantastic.
great, awesome.
So my name is Emily and I'm the wholesale sales manager here at Meadowbrook. That means that it's my job to send all of our gourds all over the country to gift shops and boutiques. And so that is where a lot of people find our gourds. And do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Connie. I work in the retail gift shop. I work in our sales office. Both of our husbands actually work here as well. So we definitely make it a family affair.
They paint together. So, and
Yeah.
Connie works in my office with me doing customer service.
So we all hang out and have a good time.
Yeah. So if you ever message us on Facebook or email or call, there's a really good chance that you're going to speak to one of us.
Really good chance, like 80% chance.
Yeah.
We recognize some names here that some people that have joined us quite often, and we appreciate it. Thank you for coming back.
Yeah, and it might be strange to see me in this spot since I'm usually over here in Connie's spot. But today I get to teach the class, so I'm very, very excited about it. I do not work in production all the time, but I do craft with gourds, and I went to art school, so I think I can do it. I think we'll be in
You
good
can
hands.
handle it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you can handle it.
Yeah. So before we get started, I want to just go over a couple things that you'll need. I recommend getting a bowl of water for your paintbrush, some sort of disposable plate or palette to use for your paint. If not, we can certainly work out of these, but if you have that, that would be great. If you have access to baby wipes, those are awesome for cleaning up accidents or anything, any oops that you make. But paper towels will work. Yeah. I would highly recommend also grabbing a wet paper towel because we might use our fingertips for a part of the process, and I just don't want you to have a mess. So something to clean that up. The other thing that we didn't send along that you'll need today is scissors. So any scissors should work. So I'll give you a minute to grab those things before we get started. When we see you come back, we can go over all the supplies.
And you can see scissors become missing in our offices. So I actually had to write my name on mine because we have sticky fingers around that just like to collect scissors and pens.
Yes. Mine also says my name, but I've also had them stolen with my name on them too. You never know because we have lots of classes here. And come and steal them from us.
Okay. I love the Aurora Borealis behind Kim. I love that. That's
we should do
that. Is on my bucket list.
Thank you. And I don't know how it ended up being like that, but I didn't do anything. This is what it looked like when I came in.
A happy accident. I like it.
Yes.
So don't think I'm staring at you. I'm staring at your background.
Okay, so we're all back from grabbing our supplies. So I'll go over everything that you received in this project. So the first thing that you'll see in your bags are the actual pieces of gourds for your adorable little gnome. They are rubber banded together. You're welcome to undo the rubber band and take the pieces apart. You'll see that they're all separated so that we can paint them individually. You'll also notice that every gourd is different and these are all hand cut. So your hat is only really going to fit on in one way. So just keep that in mind, that when we're gluing things that you'll want to make sure that it is placed the right way. You'll have a little wood biscuit base. Fun fact, we make these here on the farm. In your smaller bag, and you have a paintbrush. In your smaller bag, you should have received 2 Q-tips. We're going to use one for glue and one for painting our beard. You'll receive 2 paint pots that are connected. Now this is our special Snow-Tex paint that we'll use for our textured beard. Then you'll have 2 white paint pots that are separated, and that is your glue. So it's important to make sure that you aren't accidentally painting on the beard with the glue or vice versa. So those are like that. You'll have a little wooden down nose that is pre-stained. 3 paint pots with our 3 colors for our project. If you want and you have other paint at your house, craft paint, acrylic paint, anything like that, as long as it's not oil-based, it would work well with what we have here. You're welcome to customize your gnome and make it whatever color you would like. But those are the colors we have today. And then you'll have 2 Q-tips. Oh, I already mentioned the Q-tips. Apologize for that. So let's get started. We are going to start with our beard because we want this to have a chance to dry. And it's the most fun part, in my opinion.
I have never used this before, so this is going to be
I
really
got a
interesting.
lesson from the experts today. So,
And what's it called again?
Snowtex.
Snowtex. Okay.
Yeah, so you can buy it at Michael's, and it is a really cool textured paint that is to replicate snow, but we use it for texture on our projects. And I'm going to bring this up close so you can see the texture on our sample beard here. So that is what we're going for, but of course it's your project, so you can make it look however you would like. But that will be in the 2 tubs that we have here. So you'll take your beard piece and 1 of your Q-tips and just go ahead and carefully open those up. We're going to take one of the Q-tips and get I would say a healthy amount, because we are going to go ahead and start smearing it in no particular order onto the beard. Essentially, the idea right now is to get the whole thing covered.
And should I be putting on heavy or should it be light?
So I would recommend doing light to start. We can always build on it. You should have enough to make a very fluffy beard if you would like to. But I do know that this dries better if you start with a lighter coat, let it dry a little bit and add more and kind of build up. So again, the first idea is just to get it all covered in the white, which can be a little challenging because it is clumpy, but don't worry if it doesn't look perfect yet.
It's almost like you just took sand and mixed into the paint.
I'm sure you really could do that if you wanted to replicate this without getting the Snowtex, but it's a really, really cool product that we've been having a lot of fun using on some of our newer designs. The expert gourd beauticians, I see a couple of you have been to quite a few of our classes, so you know Amber. She is very pregnant.
8 3/4 months pregnant.
Which is why she is not here today and I am here, but you're in good hands because she sat down and showed me all of the tips of working with this because she works with it all the time. And so if we spread it around, she recommends using your finger to get any detailing that you want. She said that is the best way to do it. So if at any point you feel like you've spread it around enough and you feel good with that coverage, if you want, you can just, she said, tapping with your finger and moving around the texture to where you like it is the best way to get a good outcome.
Okay.
I know, they have all of the tips back there.
They
swear.
really do.
Well, that is because Amber has probably made 400 of these this year.
At one time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So they do know all of the tricks back there.
And that's why I'm in the office and the gift shop. Excuse me.
So
A frog in my throat.
So our crafting team right now is gearing up for Amber who is our expert beautician. She's our lead beautician. She will be on maternity leave and we're very excited for her, but they've all been working very hard to get all of the fall designs crafted and move on to winter.
Yes, they really have been.
With her expertise still there. It's always fun, but sometimes challenging when you have a small team. How are you doing, Connie?
I don't think it's looking too bad for my first attempt. It's
Yours is a bit thicker than mine.
Will we be putting a second coat on?
Only if you want to. So you can see in the sample, and again, this is your project, and I'm gonna wipe off my fingers so I can show you without making a giant mess. I'll show you the sample again so you can see. You can see that there's in the sample and on mine as well, and in the product that we sell, just like this, in areas it is flat to the gourd, almost like it's just painted. And actually in some areas you can see the gourd just faintly shining through. So it doesn't have to be super thick unless you want it to be super thick. You look like you want a very burly beard.
I like a burly beard, that's
So-
right. Only on my gnomes
That's
and my
good.
Santas, not on my husband.
So yeah, so whatever
Okay.
makes you happy as to how that looks.
This is when you need the baby wipes.
Or the wet paper towel, yeah.
If you're as messy as I am, yes.
Amber was very right on that, that you're gonna get a little messy on this one. So I think that the original purpose of this snow text is to like people painted on pine cones and wreaths and other snowy projects. But we're finding very interesting, fun uses for it.
Definitely.
I always like to add.
I'm finding it's a little difficult to get to the very edges there.
Yeah, you will not want to get too close or get too much on the rim here of the gourd, because we will have to have a nice, we'll have to glue it in here, and we wouldn't want it to be too textured or bumpy for that to have a nice fit. So if you do get a lot on that little rim right here, you can go ahead and wipe it off with a paper towel or a baby wipe or whatever you have, or your fingers since it's already messy.
Fingers, that's right.
And I'm pretty happy with mine.
Okay,
But I'll
yeah,
give
I
you
think
all
I'm good.
a chance to. And again, we can come back and fix, like, you know, if you have a little handprint or something from holding it, you can certainly come back and fix that a little bit after it starts to set and dry.
Okay.
It takes about 15 minutes to start to really harden up. Okay. And then I flip it upside down.
Whoops. Mhm.
It's okay.
Okay.
Happy accidents. Okay. So now we're going to, once we're happy with our beards for the moment, we're going to move on to painting our body. Now, in our sample, we used the burnt orange that you have sent here, but then we also added a little bit of texture with this dark brown. You are welcome to mix a little bit of the dark brown in to make this a deeper color. Our gnome that we have Griffin in our catalog is a little bit deeper of an orange. And if
Yes,
you
he
like
is.
that, you
Mhm.
could tone down that orange with a little bit of the brown. Or you can add a little bit of that texture, which is what I will do and show you. But again, it's your project, so you can do it however you would like. So we are going to go ahead and scoop all of the orange paint onto our plate with the brush.
I think the most difficult part of these classes, getting these little paint pods open without
does take
spilling it all over me.
Take a little bit of practice. Yeah. We never claim in our classes that you're going to come out of it completely unscathed from a little paint or glue.
Okay.
When you have that all poured out, you do your brown as well. You don't have to put the whole paint pot of brown. You're not going to use all of it. But what I would do is add a little bit of, just dip your paintbrush in your water. And I already have a brown and orange on the paintbrush from scooping it out, and that's what I want. I'm going to go ahead and with a little bit of that water and that brown on there, I'm going to go ahead and dip my paintbrush in more of the orange paint. So it's pretty well loaded, and go ahead and start painting. So I already have a little bit of that brown and the orange. So that'll give us a little bit of texture. If you feel like you have too much brown or you know, too much orange, or you don't love the texture to start, that's okay, because we're going to do another coat on this. And you'll see, because I watered down my paint a little bit, that it is a nice thin coat, and that is on purpose. The thinner of the coat you put on to start, the cleaner the finished product will be. I go ahead and
Very. interesting here.
It's
I think
interesting.
I think I got a little too much brown, but
That
like you
is-
said,
That is okay. If
Ah.
you let that dry just a little tiny bit
mhm,
and then go over it with more orange with less brown on your brush,
okay.
you can get that same effect. So you really
Super.
can't mess it up. So if you go too orange,
Oh no, this is me you're talking about here.
if you go too orange, we can always add a little bit more brown on the next coat. And in your case, if you went, it's a little bit of a muddier
Mhm,
color,
it sure is, yeah.
but that's okay if you like that. And it doesn't sound like you do. So we
You know,
can
I'll just go
we can
with
go
it
ahead
here
and
and see how it turns out. I think, like you said, it's kind of hard to mess this
no,
up.
no, you can't. So go ahead and just cover the entire piece. You really don't have to worry about the bottom ring or getting this ring entirely covered. I would make sure that you go in a little bit because that beard will inset just a tiny bit, but it
Okay.
doesn't have to be perfectly covered. Just so that we don't have any raw gourd sticking out in the end product for any reason.
Okay. I know some of you have already taken several of these courses. You learn from Amber to hold it with your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
So I have learned that from her as well.
Yes,
It's a
thank
little,
you for bringing that tip up.
it's a little less messy that way.
Yes, so
Okay.
just put your fingers in and spread them out and that will. So how do you feel? Do you want it to be a little bit more orange?
Um, yes, I think I would.
Okay.
Oh, there, it's gone a little heavy.
All right, so once we have that first coat on, and again, you don't have to worry about that bottom rim because we're gonna glue it onto a wooden base. And mine just has a couple more areas I wanna get that first coat on covered. We're gonna go ahead and wash out our brush and start our first coat on our little hat, which we won't want orange for unless that is the look that you're going for.
Absolutely not. Too much orange.
I'm just going
Unless
to
that's what you like.
I'm going to wash out my brush and just give it a little bit of a dry and throw a little bit of our the white. This is what we call our white, but it is more of like an antique or ivory white.
Right.
But that is our Meadowbrook white. We're gonna scoop that out onto our tray. And you might need a little bit more brown depending on how much you stuck on there.
I think I just flattered myself a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, well, it's a good thing
Hey,
you're in a Meadowbrook shirt. That's
maybe
what they're made for.
maybe I should start wearing aprons whenever I do
Yes.
this.
And for this, I am going to start mixing the brown and the tan. And it really is just add a little bit of the brown to start and just keep adding more until you get to a color that you like. You do not need the paint to be completely mixed if you want it to have the textured, sorry, Connie, the textured
okay.
look of this. But if you want it to be more uniform, you can certainly blend in the paint together more. Apologize.
Again, these paint pods fight with me.
Yeah, so if you can see, I have my paint where it's mostly mixed, but there's still some swirls of the white and the brown in that.
I like that. Yes, I like
So
that.
you're already going to have it kind of mixed well in that way, so it's not completely uniform. You do not have to paint the stem if you don't want to, if you prefer it to be natural, but we typically do.
Amber always says she considers it not finished if the stem is not painted. That's that's just her opinion.
Some designs I think look really cute with a natural stem, but I feel like for our little gnome friend here, Griffin, he
needs his stem
needs his
painted.
stem painted, but you can make that choice yourself. So I have a little bit of variance in mine with the brown, and I think I want a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I already have my paintbrush loaded with that taupey brown color that I have. I'm going to just kind of lightly on the one side put on some brown, and I'm going to go back over it while it's still wet. And so I'm adding in that texture, and then you just keep working the paintbrush
Wow.
around until you like it. So if you like it to have more harsh lines, don't overwork the paint. If you want it to just have, subtle, then you just keep kind of dabbing it on and then in different directions until you get the look that you want. Are you going
And
for
I think-
uniform, Connie?
I think I am going for uniform. I think I put a little too much paint on my brush when I started.
Oh,
So right now I'm just kind of trying to mix it in
okay.
and not have any big globs anywhere.
You could always take a paper towel and get some of that paint off of your paintbrush if you want to thin it out a little bit and help it
Gotta
dry.
do that. Okay.
That's an option. But if you're happy with where you're going, that's okay too. That happens sometimes, and that's always what I do, would be just to dry out the paintbrush a little bit
Okay.
and go back over it. And so I'll show you what I have here on mine. So there is
Very
texture
nice.
that's similar to that. But the beauty of gourds is that no two are alike. So
That is for sure. Okay.
and if you don't love it this first round, we are going to come back and do a second coat if it looks like you need it, just to let the paint dry so you can add a little bit more texture or clean anything up on the next one. But I like adding a little bit of texture. It's almost like it, is maybe it's a little knit hat. You never know.
You never know.
Nope. I just did little cross hatches on it just to spread that texture out a little. Okay.
We
Done
are
with our-
cruising right along here.
Are we? I'm sorry if
Yeah.
I'm moving too fast. If I am, please tell me to slow down. And if I'm not moving fast enough, tell me to slow down. Because I'm no stranger to teaching classes, but I've never taught any of our Zoom classes.
You're
I'm
doing
always in
great.
your chair.
You are doing great.
Always the student. Okay. So we'll go back to our orange body. And again, we have a new clean brush with just a little bit of water in it. It's just a little bit damp. I'm actually gonna add a little bit more to my brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and dip one side of my brush into the orange, and that's mostly covering it. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of the brown to one corner. And I'm gonna go in and do my other coat. And I'm going to essentially just mix the paint. So you can see it's really textured right now, but if I continue to cross hatch it, it'll mix on the board to get, so we can have some texture.
I'm sorry,
we
what
can
was
control
that phrase? You said
Make-
cross, what was that? That was
Cross-hatching
definitely,
it?
that was definitely an art school
So, oh,
word.
I'm sorry. So I just go back and forth on the board with different directions, like X's over it, and as I'm mixing it. And so I know I want to add a little bit more orange to that. So I'm dipped
Okay.
the side of my brush in the orange. And you just keep going. Does Amber
Okay.
never use that term?
I don't think I have ever
Because
heard
this
that
is
term.
an Amber technique. I learned this
Oh.
technique from Amber. So
Oh, goodness.
maybe I just am adding my own terms
Well,
to it.
You
but
are an A1 student, that's for sure. And I think you're doing pretty good teaching too. Haven't had any complaints yet.
if you have complaints, share them in the comments. I won't look until the end. I'm just kidding. No, I mostly spend my time in the customer service sales office, which is where they like to keep me. But during COVID, I actually crafted a lot of our gourds. And I have worked on things when our office is a little slow or we're on a 200-acre farm in the middle of nowhere. If our internet goes down, which happens,
Which happens a lot. Happens a lot.
To help craft gourds.
And she doesn't take a lot of credit for it, but Emily does so much of our marketing for both our retail website, all of our special events here on the farm, our wholesale website. She does a great job.
Thanks, Connie.
Hey, you are welcome. You deserve some credit.
I am always the person behind the camera usually. If you see any of our videos on our Facebook, that's not me in front of it, but
That's your
I am
great
behind it.
photography and videos.
So I'll show you where I am right now on mine. So if I added a little too much brown, I just went back and added some orange, and I did that cross stitching without adding too much paint. You really can't mess it up. So you can just keep going until you like it. How are you
Okay.
looking? Am I being a good teacher? Do you think you're
Yes, I
liking it?
think you're doing great.
Okay.
I'm liking mine.
Okay. I actually really like it. You went pretty dark, and
I
now you're
did.
adding in the orange, and it's a very nice rich
Oh,
color.
it's not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Now, my hat, on the other hand, I'm not so sure of, so I'll have to
And
work
what
on
don't
that.
you like about it?
It's all a solid one color. To me, it looks very boring.
That's pretty easy to fix. We can fix that.
Okay.
And I will tell you, this is such a forgiving technique that I accidentally, because I'm clumsy, got some of that hat gray on my paintbrush when I was painting this. And I just kept cross hatching it, as I say, or making
Cross-hatching it?
the X's and blended it in, and it actually looks really neat. So
Great, very good.
cool.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're done with that, we're going to go back and add that second coat to the hat, and then we'll be done with our painting.
Okay. So while we're finishing up our painting, oh, what's going on the farm? Let's see. We planted our sunflowers. We planted
Mhm.
almost 50 acres of sunflowers this year, and they are out of the ground about 5 inches. Had a torrential downpour here 3 nights ago, I believe it was, and they really sprouted out of the ground. So that was a good thing. Of course, the Sunflower Festival, if you're local, and I know so many of you aren't, that's September 28th and 29th, where this year we're going to have about 50 craft vendors. Our 50 acres of sunflowers, free for the picking. And then food trucks, of course, and our annual big oops sale. So there is a lot we're trying to plan for right now.
If you are local, please come visit us in September. We have, like she said, 50 acres of sunflowers out. We plant them in intervals so that there's always a field blooming, as long as Mother Nature allows, between the beginning of September until the first hard frost. So you're always welcome to come out to the farm from dawn to dusk and paint and pick for free, or take pictures or whatever you'd like to do, and you can pick as many as you want. But the Sunflower Festival is something to not miss. People travel from
Oh my
hours
gosh,
away.
it is so much fun, and it's a 2-day event. And we do say if you're local, but honestly, we have people that fly here that make a weekend of it. We from all over the country. We even have Canadian visitors occasionally. Just this week already, and it's only Tuesday, I had some Oregon customers in the store. So that was a lot of fun.
And we're in Pennsylvania, if you're not familiar with where we're located, in central Pennsylvania. But yes, and I think this year, the OOP sale is something not to miss, because that's where any gourd that our team would make a little tiny oops on, that we can't sell as a first, we put into the sale, and so you can get lots of good discounts. For our last OOP sale in summer celebration, which was in July, Dory and I went out before the sale started, and we picked up lots of goodies. I think almost 90.
Yes. Yes.
And then we did a Facebook Live sale with them, and it went really, really well. So we'll probably do that again as well if you are not local, so that you get a chance to have some nice discounted gourds.
That went extremely well for our first time.
Yes.
Wasn't sure what to expect, but our customers, they're always so patient with us, like you tonight, and we appreciate it. Okay.
All right.
I think I'm happier with my hat now.
Now, my beard is dry to the touch for the most part. If you love your beard as it is, perfect. If you don't, now would be the time to add any more texture to it that you would like.
Okay, I think mine might need just a little bit more in certain spots. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to fill in his bare spots on his beard.
Okay, mine is looking really good. I would say we are going to glue it in even if you paint right now while it's still a little wet. So just make sure you give yourself a little bit of area to place it into the body of your gnome. I'll show you where we are so far. So that is my bottom with its brown texture. Connie's is a bit darker and deeper, but I actually really like the color that she came up with. So she did a great job.
You know, that was accidental.
Well,
But
you could say
hey.
it's intentional. That's okay. And then we have our little hats. It's a little hard to pick up on camera, but they do. Mine has texture.
Mine just a little bit in certain spots. And I'll have to touch up my stem, but I can do that once it's all glued
You
together.
sure can. You sure can. Gives you a chance. Okay.
Okay.
So if we're done with our beards, I'm going to clean up. We have a little bit of paint here. I don't know if it was me or you.
Oh, it's probably me, most definitely.
We are going to go ahead and start gluing everything together. So to start, we are going to glue our body onto our base. We're going to work from the bottom up here. And so what you want to do is find your paint or your glue pots, the ones that are white and singular, they're not together. And you'll take your other Q-tip and grab, that's about how much I have there. So this is tacky glue. It will dry clear in about 20 minutes and it's very, very well holding. So you're just going to want to paint that rim around here on the bottom of your gnome gourd. Just get it mostly covered, but it doesn't have to be super clumpy or anything like that. I'll show you here in a minute. I always think this is like icing a cake. It's very soothing. I like the gluing.
It's soothing.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as you don't forget that it's glue and not icing. And
oh, that would not be a good thing.
So mine is, I have about that much glue on. And you're going to want to go ahead and sit that on your wooden base. You'll decide what side you want to be the top and where you would like it to be placed. The tacky glue is great because it is forgiving. So you can set it down and adjust it as much as you need. And it's okay if, so I have like a little ring of glue that you can see there. That is going to dry clear. So you do not have to worry about cleaning up a very small ring of glue. If it is, if you have clumps of glue in there and you'd like to clean it up, I would recommend maybe using the edge of your toothpick to get in there and clean it up, or you could even use your paintbrush, honestly, and then just clean it out really well. Those are nice paintbrushes, so it'd be clean it out good so you can keep it.
Yes.
And then that will be nice and start to set. The next thing we're going to glue in is our beard. And so what we will want to do for this is just put a layer of glue lightly on this edge here. I would keep the glue closer to this inner edge rather than going the whole way out to your snowy beard, just so that if you do have the glue pop out, it's you don't have to worry about cleaning it up. It'll be a little harder to clean up with all of that snow tech. Again, it dries clear though, so it's not the end of the world if you get some.
Kind of just blend in.
Yeah. Again, just a healthy spreading of that, like you're buttering a piece of toast. So tonight I have a very fun project, Connie.
Oh, what's that?
So we actually hand pollinate our gourds. So we grow about 20 to 50 acres of gourds a year. And there's a special moth called the sphinx moth that pollinates our gourds, but they don't come out until mid-August because of our climate. So we have to go out every night, or we get to go out, I should say, throughout the summer. And we
hey, my base just fell off.
Yes, pick it up from the whole base if you can, and you just place it in there. And again, you have a little bit of chance to push it in and get it to your liking. And if any glue pops out, you can clean it up with your finger.
Okay.
Just gently. But anyway, the moths come out in mid-June,
Mhm.
and tonight I'm going out into the fields in the middle of the night, not by myself because that would be terrifying.
That would
But
be, I would not
in
do
the middle of
that.
nowhere,
Mm-mm.
200 acre farm, and trying to capture our moths working on film. Because we don't have
Oh,
to pollinate this time of year, but I'm very, very excited, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to.
I hope you get to
Yeah.
catch some.
So again, pick it up from the base if you are going to pick him up. And I did get a little bit of blue spillage right there onto my orange. And it would probably dry nice and clear, but I'm just going to take
Not looking too
my
bad.
baby wipe and clean that up. I'm pretty messy like Connie, so you probably don't have that issue. We next are going to take our little wooden nose, and we are going to add just a little bit of glue on um, this wooden part here. It's going to get placed into
Whoops.
our beard area in that hole. It is a tight fit. You will probably have to wiggle it a little bit to get it in there.
It does fit snugly.
But so you don't need a lot of glue. So you're just going to want to put like a little bit on the end of that. What would you call this part, Connie?
The nub.
Well, but not the
I don't know,
rounded
not the
button
rounded
part.
part, the flat part.
The part that's going to fit inside. The cylinder part. You
the
want
part
just like a
you're-
little
yeah.
bit on the end, so when it goes in,
The part you're not
it
going to
spreads around a
see.
little bit. Yes. Thank you.
Sure.
I don't know the technical term for that. I'm not sure that
I don't know if
anyone
it has
has.
one.
Yeah,
I don't know if it has one.
we can make one up.
So how do you plan on seeing these moths in the dark?
Well, I'm going to use your headlamp,
Headlamps.
and taking a spotlight and hoping and praying because they move really, really fast.
So what I would like is that if you have someone that's with you, take a picture of you with this headlamp on your head,
I absolutely will.
and we will put it on Facebook. No, probably not.
Maybe if it's
Hey,
looks
if it
interesting
works.
enough and you think people would enjoy it, I will do that.
The things we do here on the farm.
So I, being the messy person that I am, touched my little snow tech and then smushed it onto the
Touched your
side of my
nose?
nose. So I just took a baby wipe. You could take a wet paper towel and fix that if you wanted, and just push it in there. If it doesn't look like it went in the whole way, as long as you can't see from the side angle and you are happy with it, then it is perfectly fine.
Now the tough part's coming up next, right?
The hat or the
Yes.
yeah.
Aligning the hat.
Yes. So your hat was hand cut off of your gourd, and so they're all different. And our crafters are amazing, but they can't cut perfect circles on an imperfect object. So you're going to want to pre-place your hat and spin it around until you know that it has that perfect seal or fit. You'll know when it hits the right spot in there, and just take note of where that positioning is, and then go ahead and line that rim right here with glue again.
And we're going to be putting the fur on around this, right? So if I mess up and
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about
The
getting
fur
the
is
glue.
going to cover that crease between the hat and the body of the gourd. So go ahead and be as messy as you want. Because we're going to add glue there in a moment anyway.
Okay. So we're getting ready for fall create your own here on the farm. Second and third week of October. I believe we still have spots available. That's when you get to come here and just make as many gourds as you want in your 2-hour time frame.
The designs for that will be released next week. Ashley, our main designer, is finishing them up now, so we're very excited about that. So we also, I think, are going to be releasing a VIP night if it isn't
Oh,
already
really?
released. Yes, which will
Okay.
be a Friday night where you can come and have some special limited designs that are only available that night. It's adults only. And it's a much smaller class, so you get a lot more attention. So I have mine on. I am not 100% certain that I have it exact, and that's okay because we're going to put fluff around there.
I don't have
And if
mine
you
either.
don't have it, you can still move it around a bit while the glue sets. But once you're happy with that, and don't worry if it's a little messy because we're going to cover it up, we'll move on to our fluff. How's everyone looking?
Good? All
Great.
right.
Okay. So I highly recommend, just so that because we're the messy ones here, maybe you are
Yes.
too,
Yes.
to go ahead and pre-place your fluff around your gnome. So you will see that it has, it's fluffy on most of the sides, but then it has like a thread through it, a seam.
Yes.
That is what we're going to stick into the glue. So if you're pre-placing it, I would recommend making sure that you're pre-placing that. So I would pre-place it and then cut off the excess so that it's easier to place it in the glue later. You can leave a little extra there if you want to be careful and make sure. That's what I'm going to do, and then just trim at the end. So I just chopped off the extra. When I take that home, I think my daughter would love that as a little caterpillar.
She would.
And then we are going to, this is the trickiest of the gluing. I think we are going to add glue to that seam between the hat and the our little griffin gnome. But we don't want it to be too thick. So thick of a line. So think like thin line around like that, around that seam. If you feel like your little Q-tip is getting a little too smushed up from all of its use, you could also turn it around and use this end to grab the glue and kind of brush it around. The paintbrush would also be okay. My Q-tip is fine. I just know from previous projects, sometimes they get a little rough, but that should be fine. And again, this will dry clear, so it's okay.
This is when I'm going to go in and touch up my stem that silly me was holding as I was putting my second coat on the hat.
If you do, you are picking it up, your base should be nice and sturdy now, but I still err on the side of caution and am picking it up by the base.
Okay.
Got your glue on there, and you got, oh my gosh.
I am actually
so much faster than me.
I'm impressed with
I'm
myself.
impressed with you too.
I did it.
Wow. Do you want to teach the class?
No, not at all. You're a good
I'm just adding
teacher.
a little bit more glue around my nose, and I'm scared because I have a little, like I said, messy. So I'm gonna make sure that my edge is in the back.
Oh, my nose has popped out a little bit. Here I was all proud and his nose is out. There we go.
Okay.
Much better.
Great. And I'm just going to trim off my little excess here. You could always just put another little extra dab of glue, which I'm going to do right on those edges under them. Make sure that they're extra stuck carefully. And I think we have
Look
gnomes.
at that.
And again, my favorite part of boards are that
they're
all different. Because
Absolutely.
those beards were cut out by hand. The boards are all shaped differently. And I'm sure we all used different techniques. Does anyone have any questions, concerns? Quiet group. That's okay though. Connie and I.
That's okay. Absolutely.
We're chatty.
Anybody want to show us theirs? Ah, all right, Barbara. Yeah. Christine. All right. Very nice.
Well, I know I did well enough that you have finished products. I hope that you like them.
So if you don't have any questions, I guess we'll say Adios until next time.
Yeah, if you do find that you have questions later, feel free to email Dory, the email that sent you the link to the, or you can give us a call, or message us on Facebook. We answer all of those and we'll be able to help you. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And
Thank
can
you.
come to the next classes. Oh, we will be not having any classes in October.
No classes in October. November, we know we will be having, what are we having?
We did a very popular elf that has
Okay.
legs and feet that can sit. And it was so popular, people have been asking for it for Zoom. So we'll be doing that in November, and it might be a special class where we add a few more of the experts from Meadowbrook in it. So look out for that to be announced, but I think all of our other classes are full. But thank you guys so much for participating, and we hope to see you soon.
Now you can clean up your mess. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I think
What'd I
that's going
do?
to end for all.
How do we do that?